Jakarta Governor Ahok found guilty of blasphemy. Many of you may remember this story as having been covered by Appaband, and you may relate more closely to this exact meme and picture here about how the Marvel comic books artist was caught slipping in anti-Semitic and anti-Christian messages within Marvel comic books. Anyway, let's roll this intro and get right into it.
They purposely making the innocent weak. My existence on this planet's for you. I ain't only here to benefit me.
So I put out a tweet with this story attached to it saying, should I do it? And Lady Machiavella told me to on Twitter. She's known as the Mistress Machiavella. And, you gotta do what the mistress says. So here it goes. Jakarta Governor Ahok found guilty of blasphemy. Outgoing Governor Basuki, Purnama, sentenced to 2 years in jail over comments he made during political campaign. An Indonesian court has found Jakarta's outgoing Christian governor guilty of blasphemy against Islam. Basuki Tahahar, I don't know how to fuck pronounce that, Purnama, also known as Ahok, was sentenced to 2 years in prison on Tuesday in a South Jakarta courtroom over comments he made regarding what he believed to be the misinterpretation of certain verses of the Quran. As hundreds of protesters gathered outside calling for the maximum penalty to be given, Dewarshi Budi Santarto, the presiding judge, told the court that Purnama was convincingly guilty of committing blasphemy. Purnama has denied wrongdoing, though he apologized for comments he made last year criticizing his opponent's use of the Quran in political campaigning, suggesting to Muslim constituents that they cannot be governed by a person of another faith. This is the individual here. Purnama lost his bid for re-election in an April runoff after the most divisive and religiously charged election in recent years to a Muslim rival, Anies Baswedan. Thousands of police were deployed in Jakarta on Tuesday, and case clashes broke out between Purnama's supporters and opponents who are demanding he be dismissed and jailed. His supporters, for their part, delivered thousands of red and white balloons to City Hall in advance of the court session. Both groups will have the opportunity to demonstrate, but we are taking steps to prevent clashes, said Seta Wasista, the National Police spokesman. Prosecutors had called for a suspended 1-year jail sentence for Purnama on charges of hate speech. His opponents believed that is too light. The maximum sentence is 4 years in prison. The Indonesian government has been criticized by rights groups for not doing enough to protect religious minorities. However, President Joko Widodo, an ally of Purnama, has urged restraint over the trial and called for all sides to respect the legal process. Al Jazeera's Step Vesan, reporting from Jakarta on Sunday, said critics of Purnama celebrated outside the court after the sentencing, which has been harsher than expected. Of course, a lot of people in Indonesia are going to question this verdict, she said. They are going to wonder what kind of precedent this will set for other cases, how easy it will be to bring blasphemy charges against other opponents, especially if they happen to be from a minority in the country. She said Purnama was likely to be detained immediately, adding that the verdict perhaps makes it harder for religious minorities to run for office in the future. It will make it difficult to hold speeches, Al Jazeera's Vesan said. People will have to be more careful over the wording they use, because apparently it's quite easy to run the risk of being accused and getting a verdict of blasphemy now. Indeed, this seems to be true. This guy is a Christian and an ethnic Chinese man who has now apparently committed the ultimate sin of quoting the Quran himself, even though he's not a Muslim. That seriously seems to be about it. And this, you may remember, is in relation to riots that were sparked after a Marvel comic book guy and stuff made comments on this to himself. Some of the references created by Ardian, who is the Marvel the Marvel Comics artist, who was criticized previously, who is an Indonesian artist, appeared to attack Christian Governor Basuki Purnama of Jakarta, Indonesia. His 2014 election marked the city's first non-Muslim governor and was highly controversial, with conservative Islamists arguing that only Muslims should be elected to high office. There are at least 2 specific references to the governor in the comic book, according to the Hollywood Reporter, also including is a reference to a Quran passage that some can interpret as condemning Jews and Christians as allies. It's just bizarre to see how, first off, this was the only one that reported on it, Al Jazeera, about him getting, and I have tons of apps and blogs and everything else that I watch in order to keep up on the news. And the only one that reported on this in the entire world, it seems, as far as I could tell, was Al Jazeera. Of course, everybody else is protecting Muslims. Al Jazeera doesn't really care because they're Muslims. Alright? Anyway, as I talk, you may notice something interesting behind me. This screen that's rolling with death counts and injury counts and all this other stuff. Well, the thing is, that is every single Christian that has been killed in the name of Islamic Jihad since 2001. Fact of the matter is, and I'm not a Christian, I have no reason to defend Christians other than out of morality itself. Christians are the single most persecuted group in the world as it stands. Okay? They are killed off at an almost daily rate by Muslims in the Middle East. They are discriminated against institutional and legally by Muslim countries. Okay? How often have you seen a report or a video or a news or something about a Christian getting his head chopped off, dragged through the street, or killed, just in general? This is all too common of an occurrence. And I really wanted to use this as a platform to speak up on the issue. Okay, there are support groups and donation groups and charity groups that you can go to help Christians in the Middle East. And I will be looking into these myself and creating another video on this at a later time. Anyway, good luck, guys, and God bless you.
Most of you chumps running around here ain't never had strict parents. Still you out in these streets thinking you hot as can be, without the knowledge to lead, so you just follow the sheep. You been brainwashed by a fake life that you used to live in. Yo, society's got you living for a whack cause you're a fucking adult with no skills at all. You don't read any books or play ball, you don't draw, you literally do nothing at all. Your lazy ass don't commit to labor. You pick something up, try it out, and put it down 2 minutes later. Then you complain about your life cause it ain't getting catered. Now whoever tries to call you on your bullshit's a hater. They purposely making the innocent weak. My existence on this planet's for you. I ain't only here to benefit me. Yeah, we need to make a change while there's still time. It is hard, and sometimes I struggle trying to reveal mine. I can guide you if you feel blind. I just need you to be willing to journey into my ill mind.